Assalomu alaikum qadrli studentlar. Welcome and hello everyone. So welcome back to our next intermediate class. So today we are in unit number 12. Bugun sizlar bilan 12 darsimiz va ajoyib demak readingni ko'rib chiqamiz va reading mavzuyimiz demak boshqa odamlarni qutqarish haqida bo'ladi. Xo'p, ko'p gapirib o'tirmaymiz. Agar tayyor bo'lsangiz readingni demak boshlaymiz. Saving other people. Xo'p, boshqa odamlarni demak qutqarish. Xo'p, bilamizki bizda demak boshqa odamlarning hayotini qutqarish uchun maxsus kasblar bor. Yani we have specific or special professions or the job which are dedicated to save the other people's life. For example, firefighters, they fight against fire. Demek misol uchun o't o'chiruvchilar demak o'tga qarshi kurashib ko'plab odamlarning hayotini saqlab qoladi. And the next one is police or police officers yoki bo'lmasa militsiya yoki bo'lmasa o'zimizda demak militsiya xodimlarimiz. Xo'p, bo'lmasa bugun sizlar haqida demak ajoyib boshqa narsani ko'rib chiqamiz va qiziq bo'lsa demak birgalikda o'qiymiz. Xo'p, men o'qib beraman va o'qish jarayonida talaffuzga demak qattiq e'tibor berasiz va qayerda demak talaffuz ya'ni spelling yoki pronunciation xato qiladigan bo'lsangiz albatta to'g'rilab ketishingizni so'ragan bo'lardim. Xo'p, tayyor bo'lsangiz bo'lmasa boshladik. This is a true story of how 20 marshals and 150 dogs saved a life of 10,000 people in winter 1925. Nome is a small town in north of Alaska. In January 1925, some children in the town became ill and died. The doctor realized that it was a terrible disease. It could quickly infect and kill everybody in the town. Immediately, he sent for medicine. 1,000 kilometers to Nome, but the weather was too cold and it couldn't take off. The only dog sledge could take the medicine, but everyone asked, can the dogs reach Nome in time? 20 teams of husky dogs and mushers run as a relay. The first team left Nenana on the 27th January in a gale and snowstorm. The dogs raced through the night in minus 50 degrees Celsius. The next day, the new team carried on. The relay continued for 4 days and nights and through thick snow and ice. The newspaper and radio carried a story they called The Great Race of Mercy. Everyone wanted the dog to succeed. Right, as you can see, ko'rib turganingizdek, demak mana bu yerda demak we have Nome, so we have they are, let's say, Nenana and the Nome. It's 1,000 kilometers away. Okay, on 31st January, the medicine arrived at the coast. The quickest road to Nome was across the bay. It was expanse of the frozen sea, more than 50 kilometers across. Henry Ivanov, they set out to visit his team, but almost at once they ran into the reindeer and got tangled up. Just as Leonard Sepali arrived from the north, he was the most famous and fastest musher. I have a medicine, Ivanov shouted. Sepali took the medicine and turned it back towards the north into the raging blizzards. All right, next. His lead dog was 12-year-old Togo. Crossing the frozen sea was the most difficult and dangerous part of the journey. The ice was breaking up. Once the whole team was stranded on an ice floe, Togo had to jump 1.5 meters across the freezing water. The harness broke, but Togo jumped into the water, looked at the harness in his mouth and pulled the ice together until it is safe for the rest of the team to jump. They reached the 1st February. The medicine was quickly carried to the last team, which was led by Balto. Balto was not a usual little dog. He was only 3-year-old. The musher was not sure that Balto had the strength and obedience of a little dog. But Balto led this team bravely all the night, and they arrived in Nome early the next morning. The medicine was safely delivered. The doctors treated his patient, and no more people died. All afterwards, the Balto was a hero for the few months. Later, he was sold and shown around America, but he was badly looked after. Eventually, he was rescued and lived in a zoo. All the dogs who ran were heroes. 6 of them froze to death on a journey. Togo lived to the age of 16, and all the husky dogs in America today are descendants of Togo and other brave runners of 1925. Hop, ana qadrdonlar, demak sizlar bilan demak juda ham ajoyib readingni ko'rib chiqdik va bu matnimizda demak mardonaning demak jasorat ko'rsatgan qandoq qilib demak kuchuklar, ya'ni itlar demak odamlarning hayotini saqlab qolgan haqida ma'lumot berilgan. Hop, 1925-yilda demak bu yerda mazmundan qisqa shuki, demak Alyaskani, Shimoliy Alyaskani demak Noma degan kishi shaharchasida 1925-yilda demak bolalar demak kasal bo'lib demak vafot etishni boshlaydi va bu paytda odamlar demak dori darmon qidirishni boshlaydi va dori darmon demak Nenana degan shaharda bo'lib, u demak mana shu Nomdan demak juda uzoq chaqirim demak masofada joylashgan bo'ladi va bu masofani bosib o'tish uchun demak qariton qishda demak kecha kunduz yurish kerak bo'ladi va bu narsani inson demak o'zi eplay olmaydi va shuning uchun demak kuchlardan foydalanishadi. U yerga borish oson bo'lmaydi va bo'lmagan va orada juda ko'p kuchuklar, ya'ni itlar halok bo'lgan, hop muzlar yog'lagan va qishda demak muzlab qolgan va shunga qaramasdan demak hamma itning demak yoshi demak 6 yoshda bo'lgan va mana shu demak sayohat jarayonida eng katta jasorat ko'rsatgan bu Balto degan it hisoblanadi va u atigi 3 yoshda bo'ladi va qolgan demak safdagi demak itlarga qaraganda demak eng past darajada, ya'ni yoshrog'i bo'ladi. Xo'p, egasi demak buni qo'ldan keladi deb o'ylamagan, lekin baxtiga demak mardonavor ravishda va kuchli ravishda demak jamoani demak kecha kunduz demak borishga demak undagan va nihoyat qo'ldan kelgancha demak Noma shahriga yetib kelib dori darmonni yetkazib berishgan va shu asnoda demak juda ko'p bolalar va kishilar demak o'limdan ularni saqlab qolgan deyilyapti. Hop, xabarim bor demak va sizning xabaringiz bor. Bu yerda juda ko'p demak so'zlar notanish bo'lishi mumkin va sizlardan keltirilgan narsa mana shu demak matnimizni demak videoni xotirjam demak ravishda to'xtatib 2 marta yoki bo'lmasa 3 marta ko'rib, demak bir qator tushunib olib, yangi so'zlar bo'lsa, albatta ularni ham takrorlab chiqishingiz kerak bo'ladi. So if you want to understand the reading, so I'm really sure that there is some vocabulary and you didn't understand, at the first time when we read. All I want from you is to read the reading text once again, or if you want, you can read twice. So if there's a new vocabulary for you, find from your by using your cell phone or dictionary and try to get to know. And we are going to start our reading text exercises. Xo'p, agarda mana shu so'zlarni yaqindan tanishib olib, readingni yana bir marta o'qib chiqsangiz, biz sizlar bilan o'zimizni mashqimizni bajargan bo'lardik. Okay, xo'p, demak bo'lmasam sizlar bilan endi o'zimizni demak mashqimizni bajarsak ham bo'ladi. Xo'p, mana qadrli do'stlar, sizlar bilan birinchi demak mashqimizda turibmiz va bu reading comprehension and vocabulary. Right. The first one is match the sentence beginning with, ya'ni gaplarni boshini, so oxiriga demak solishtirishimiz kerak bo'ladi. So we have from 1 to 8 and we need to match them with the proper ending. Well, the first one, so I'm really sure if you have read the reading twice or third times, I'm really sure you can find this easily. But if you're not, so I'm going to ask you one more time to stop this session, like this video for a second, and make sure that you read once again and understand all the session, like, completely, like 100% true. Xo'p, demak 100% demak o'qishni so'ragan bo'lardim va demak birinchi nimamizni demak gapimizni boshini sizlar bilan boshlaymiz. The first one, Nome is a small town in the north of Alaska. All right? So Nome is a small town in the north of Alaska. Okay? Next, doctors realized that it was a terrible disease. Okay? Next one, King is everyone hoped. Hamma umid bog'lagan. Xo'p, nimaga umid bog'lagan? Right? Right. Everyone hoped the dog would succeed. Demak, itlarni demak omadi keladi, ya'ni muvaffaqiyatli uddalay olishadi deb turib, ular demak hamma bunga umid qilgan. Xo'p, 4-chisini o'qib eshitiraman. The quickest road to the Nome was, answer is across the bay. Number 5. Just then, Leonard Sepala arrived from the nurse. His lead dog was 12-year-old Togo. And number 7, demek 7-si, once the whole team was stranded, answer is the first one. Birinchisi bo'ladi. Once the whole team was stranded on an ice floe. Va oxirgisi 8-si, the doctor treated his patient, okay, answer is, and no more people died. Xo'p, keling, demak orada demak adashib ketgan bo'lishingiz ham mumkin va yaxshi chiqmagan bo'lishi ham mumkin. Men hammasini bir qator yana boshdan o'qib eshitiraman va bu safar demak ravon ravishda bo'ladi. Birinchisi demak Nome is a small town in the north of Alaska. The doctors realized it was a terrible disease. Everyone hoped the doctors would succeed. The quickest road to the Nome was across the bay. Just then, Leonard Sepala arrived from the nurse. His lead dog was 12-year-old Togo. Once the whole team was stranded on an ice floe. And number 8, the doctors treated his patient and no more people died. Xo'p, mana ko'rib turibsiz, demak, qadrli do'stlar, demak 2 marta demak o'qib eshittirdim va javoblarni ham birga topib chiqdik. Umid qilamanki, qadrli do'stlar, tushungansiz va biz demak keyingi ikkinchi mashqimizga o'tsak ham bo'ladi. Right, exercise number 2. In this exercise, it's freestyle speaking means you can give your own opinion, but you have to give a reason. Demak, siz demak bu erkin muloqot bo'lib, siz o'zingiz fikringizni erkin ravishda berishingiz mumkin, lekin albatta sababini tushuntirishingiz kerak bo'ladi. Ya'ni, talk about the answer to these questions. Mana bu savollarga javob berishga harakat qilib ko'ring. Would you like to ride a dog sledge? Would you really like to ride in a dog sledge? If you want to say yes, I want to have an experience on that. So you have to explain your reason why. But if you don't want to, so you have to again give some examples, or let's say you have to develop your idea why you're not going to ride the dog sledge. Number 2, ikinchisi, which place do you think is the most dangerous? The Arctic or the desert? And why? Well, as you know, everyone has different opinion. For some people, the Arctic, one of the coldest place on earth, is really dangerous. But for some people, desert means a lot of people are afraid of sun because it causes dehydration a lot in the body. So that's why desert or Arctic. For example, misol uchun menga demak Arctic eng sovuq joymi yoki bo'lmasa sahro eng qiyin demak issiq joymi? Men uchun adashmasam ikkalasi ham demak bir ravishda demak dahshatli, ya'ni dangerous yoki xavfli hisoblanadi. Both of them, both Arctic and desert, are dangerous for me. Why? Because in Arctic, if you are in the coldest place on the earth, of course you're going to get frozen. Va albatta siz demak muzlab qolishingiz mumkin. Or in desert, so you cannot survive in the sun about 3 or 4 days and without even water. Demak, suvsizlikdan va quyosh issiqligidan 3 kun yoki 4 kun ravishda tirik qolish iloji bor, xolos. Xo'p, endi bu ham demak juda ham ajoyib va qiziqarli savol va shu savolni sizdan o'rtog'ingizga berib ko'ring va uni fikrini demak eshitib ko'ring. 3-si, what are the animals help people and what do they do? Xo'p, qaysi boshqa hayvonlar insonlarga yordam beradi va ular asosan nima qiladi? Right? Xo'p, ya'ni ular what do they do basically? Xo'p, qanaqa kasbni yoki ishni, ya'ni aytaylik, qanaqa vazifani bajarishadi? Right, so there is a lot of animals can help. Well, except the dogs, there are, let's say, the monkeys. The monkeys. I know the monkeys are not really popular pests, or there are still animals that can understand a human a lot more than other animals. Xo'p, maymunlar demak boshqa hayvonlarga qaraganda miyasi tuzilish jihatdan demak va ko'rinish jihatdan insonlarga demak ozgincha bo'lsa-da yaqin va qobiliyati juda ham yuqori va ya'ni insonlarga yaxshi hamroh bo'la oladi. Xo'p, va shu bilan bir qatorda bizda misol uchun boshqa hayvonlar ham bor. Misol uchun horse, it's one of the greatest, the animal of all time that helps the people since the ancient time. Qadim vaqtlardan buyon albatta demak otlar insonlarga juda ko'p demak yo'nalishlarda yordam berib kelgan. Va mana shu narsani siz o'rtog'ingizdan ulashing yoki javobingizni menga berishingiz mumkin bo'ladi. 3-mashqqa o'tamiz. Xo'p, bu mashqimizda esa we have to match the word from the story on the left with their opposite meaning. So as you can see, we have from 1 to 8 is a given vocabulary, the words, and we need to match them from A to H with a proper opposite meaning. The first of all, birinchisi, well, as it's a given example, misol tariqasida berilgan va bu difficult is easy va difficult qiyin va teskarisi bo'lsa easy bo'ladi. Ikkinchisi, dangerous. Well, of course, albatta bu H, ya'ni safe. Well, next one, number 3rd one is immediately. Immediately, okay? Immediately degan demak hozirda, darhol, demak juda tez ravishda degan ma'noni bildiradi va buni teskarisi is G, later. Number 4, vast. Vast. Okay? Answer is vast means enormous or big, katta degan ma'noni bildiradi va buni teskari meaning esa bu tiny, ya'ni kichik degan ma'noni bildiradi. Number 5, 5-si, xo'p, die. O'lmoq, hamma biladi. Uni teskarisi live, yashamoq. Number 6, terrible. A terrible. And opposite meaning would be is Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, number 7 is sick. Sick. And opposite meaning is, answer would be what? Of course, it's number thin. Thin. And 8, succeed. Succeed. Demak, omadi kelishi, omadi chopishi yoki muvaffaqiyat qozonish. Va buni teskarisi esa E, ya'ni fail. Fail degan teskari ma'nosi hosil bo'ladi. Xo'p, mani qadrli do'stlar, xo'p sizlar bilan bugun ajoyib readingni ko'rib chiqdik va mana shu mavzuni demak mustahkamlash uchun albatta demak qaysi hayvonlar odamlarning hayotini saqlab qolishi mumkin va bundan bir nechasini sanab o'tishingiz mumkin bo'ladi. Xo'p, ingliz tilini o'rganishni to'xtamang va sizlar bilan keyingi sahifada ko'rishguncha deb qolaman.